I'm late. See if I can make this a little bit less. Anyway, the sun is in my face here. But anyway, hi, how are you guys? I'm going to move this. Sorry, I'm late. That will help a little bit, maybe. Okay, I'm wearing my little Christmas sweater today because I want to talk to you guys about the holidays and how I figured out to how to approach the holidays so that those holiday blues don't kind of spoil the whole festive occasion. And I just wanted to start out by saying that I really, I've said it a few times, but I really want to make it clear that I'm not a therapist or a counselor, any kind of professional person. I'm just somebody who has suffered with depression pretty much from puberty on. And I was always a sensitive child, but you know, as soon as puberty, can't say the word, hit, so did the depression kind of came on. And then after I started having children, some bipolar stuff started to show up. So this is just me sharing my own battle, and I'm not, licensed, although I think it's kind of interesting how putting up with school, I've been through school actually. I've been through almost a bachelor's amount of, I took a human services program through the University of Phoenix, and I think I'm about 6 classes shy of getting that degree, and I quit because I decided that I was doing it for the wrong reasons, and that I have a different mission. So while I don't have the piece of paper, I do have a little bit of a perspective of what a clinical person sees, or their approach to helping those with mental illness. But still, it's not my intention, and I don't want to belabor the point, but it's not my intention to cause anybody to think that I'm giving a professional opinion here. Anything that I say that I'm like, well, do this or do that, I'm actually saying this is what I have done that helps me. So, and I'm trying to kind of change the way I word things so that people don't mistake my videos. And don't think that I'm trying to portray, a doctor or someone, because I'm certainly not. But anyway, I have some notes here to keep me on track. I believe that no matter who you're listening to, whether it's your pastor or your therapist or your psychiatrist or your best friend or me, that you should view what is said from that person's perspective, that person's life experience, and what they have to kind of add to your life. They can help to shed light on things, or they can really, all that anybody should do is get you thinking and get you asking your heart those difficult questions. And some of them maybe not so difficult, maybe share with you pieces of information that are instantly freeing, that kind of change a false belief that you've been holding on to, or some unhealthy guilt or whatever. So that's I don't care what kind of title anybody has. If somebody says something and it just gives you like a check in your spirit, like you're like, it doesn't feel right, don't just accept it at face value. Really meditate on it, or just let it go and move on to either what else they have to say, because I'm going to say things that maybe won't be helpful to you, but hopefully I say other things that will be helpful. So you have to kind of decide. But if somebody's saying to you and all things, and all the time you're thinking, it makes you feel worse and worse and worse, maybe consider backing away from that person, no matter what kind of title they have. So anyway, I'll stop my rant there. But I also want to mention that I'm focusing on Christmas because that's the big holiday in my family, and it's something that a lot of people struggle with. But again, this is all from my perspective, so I believe you can apply these things to any holiday. And so anyway, but that's why I'm not just saying, a generic holiday. I'm really focusing on Christmas. I want to say that I believe all holiday blues kind of boil down to judgment that we're either placing on ourselves or our circumstances. And I'll break that down a little bit. For me, it was very difficult transitioning from being a child experiencing Christmas to being an adult experiencing Christmas. The first Christmas that I had as a fiance, the year before I got married, it just felt weird. And then once we got married, and then once we started having children, I finally kind of eased into it. But I believe the reason that transition was hard for me is because you have all these ideas of how Christmas should be. And when you're young, things change. Your parents can't do all the things that they did for you when you were little. It wouldn't make sense, and although my parents have done a great job of holding on to some of these traditions, you really have to learn to go with the flow and let go of expectations and build new traditions. So that's the thing that has helped me a lot, is to kind of let go of expectations. Say, well, this is tradition, we always do this every year. But things change, and perhaps whatever tradition it is, it's not doable, or it's not desirable by the group, your family, friends, whoever you celebrate with. So you have to just learn to kind of go with it, let go of those expectations. And it doesn't mean that you have to give in with every tradition that's being canceled. You can say your piece, and there's a technique in DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, called Dear Man, and it's basically just a way of stating your case without being judgmental or without attacking anybody, but just saying, this is how I see it, and this is what I would like to see happen, kind of thing. So anyway, you can use that kind of communication style to say, hey, I'm going to miss this if we don't do this. Can we still do it? So I'm not saying that, but just go with the flow. Don't worry if certain traditions are not being carried out or not being carried out correctly. Instead, focus on the joy and the connection that those traditions bring. And that goes for new traditions or old traditions that are changing. So that was one thing I really had to learn to do. And that began when I went from a teen to an adult, having to kind of adjust those things. So that covers expectations, I think. Another reason that Christmas time can bring some blues, to me especially, but to anybody, is that if you've had past Christmases that went wrong or hurts, or I got a divorce in 2012, and divorce shatters, and sometimes it's very necessary, and I needed to do that, but it shatters your world. And then you have to put the pieces back together. And so it's a very painful process. So I think probably the first 3 Christmases after the divorce were weird and just painful and didn't feel good, because it just brought up all those memories of, and some of them not bad, but just, all that, it brought up all the guilt and, look what I've done to my children. I've ruined Christmas for them. It's never going to be the same. And again, it just boils down to judgment. You have to let go of that stuff, and you have to say, this is going to be a yucky Christmas. It's going to feel ugh sometimes, but it can also be a joyful Christmas, and I'm going to, find those little pieces of joy and connection that I can and focus on those. So anyway, that's one huge reason why I had a hard time in these past several Christmases, really enjoying the holiday. And last Christmas, I don't think it was the first Christmas that I really enjoyed since the divorce, but it was the first Christmas that I was like okay with holding on to some of those past hurts and saying, you know what, I'm not holding on to them, but allowing them to be there and saying, these are still things that I have to work out. And I'm going to work toward resolving them, but in the meantime, I'm also going to enjoy my Christmas. So anyway, another thing that played into Christmas blues is we get to the end of the year and we look back and we say, wow, nearly 12 months have gone by, and I look at my New Year's resolutions and, those things really didn't happen, or, I intended to do so much during this year and it just didn't happen, or things happened and, I meant to resolve them and they're still there. Oh, I think I'm just like repeating myself. But anyway, when you look over the year's accomplishment, it's very easy to be judgmental and say, I should have got more done, or I should have done things differently. And so I think the entire year, is just kind of placed before us around the holidays. And we have to learn to say, I got done what I got done. Life was what it was this year. And I am going to focus on the good things that happened this year and not worry about what I didn't accomplish. I'm just going to focus on what I did accomplish. And then going into next year, maybe I can readjust my goals. Perhaps I had too big of expectations. I set myself up for failure. Maybe I need to scale back my goals a little bit. So I think that's another reason that the holidays can kind of be hard on all of us. And then the other thing is that, you wish you could do more for family. And you look at your financial status at the end of the year and you realize, I don't have a lot of extra money. Maybe you had planned to save money for Christmas, but life just didn't work out that way. Or for whatever reason, you don't have the money that you want to have, or you don't have the time, because I'm a really creative person. I like to create a lot of gifts. And the thing that I really have to work on even now is setting, again, those realistic goals. You've got like 3 weeks or 4 weeks before Christmas, and you're not going to be able to do this big, huge project for each and every person, or even one person. And so I've had to really work on being realistic with myself, and instead of focusing on the specifics of what we're getting done for others, just focus on making them feel loved. Put your love into whatever it is you do, whether it takes you 5 minutes to put it together, or whether it takes you, the full 3 weeks. Just make sure that your love is coming through, and that they see that you love them. And obviously you can't, sometimes you'll think, wow, they're going to really like this. It's going to be really special. And then they get it and they're like, okay, thank you. And don't get your feelings hurt. Just set that intention that I'm putting a lot of love into this gift. Okay. Now, the money piece, not being able to buy big enough gifts for each other. This is something that you just have to use a lot of radical acceptance with. Commercialism makes us feel like we need to do a whole lot for those that we love. It's their business to do that. I mean, that's how they make their money, is by creating need. And so they make you think that you need these stocking stuffers, that you need this, new gadget or whatever, that your loved one's going to really appreciate this gift or that gift. And so you have to be careful and really consider, are these gifts that I'm wanting to buy for others just me trying to prove my love to them? Or is it really something that will mean something to them? Because if you're just trying to wrap a present and put it under the tree, I think it loses a lot of the meaning of Christmas. It's not, it's hollow. Even if that gift is, $400 or $500 gift, it'll be hollow if all you're doing is showing that person that you love them because you spent a lot of money on them. Instead, especially when it comes to our kids, and especially as they're like my kids are 18, 16, and 20, and they are becoming adults, and it's okay not to be able to get them those big gifts. And I have to kind of transition from feeling like if they don't get this Christmas gift, then they're not going to get it, to, okay, they're becoming adults now, and they have options and ways to make money if they want to get that. Or, perhaps it's better if they don't get that gift. Maybe this will bring about another opportunity for them. So often, even us, we get gifts we want, and then they sit there and we hardly use them throughout the year. Or you see a Christmas gift someone bought you, and you're like, who bought that for me? I can't remember. Most gifts end up that way, I think. So really consider, I'm not saying that you have to make all your gifts, but maybe instead of focusing on how much money you're spending, focus on what will this gift say to that person about our relationship, And you don't have to be like a perfect gift giver. Just let them know that you love them through that gift. So anyway, I don't want to belabor that point, but okay, so how do we combat these things, these feelings? I think the way I do it is I acknowledge that they're there. I say, okay, I'm trying to do too much, or ghost from the past are visiting me. Christmas past is coming and whispering in my ear, or whatever it is, it's there. And like they say, I think it's a Buddhist saying, I'm not sure, but whatever comes, let it come, whatever stays, let it stay, and whatever leaves, let it leave. And that's kind of my philosophy with yucky feelings. You can let them kind of let you know, hey, this thing needs to be taken care of, but then you can let it go. And just don't hold on to it. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, don't hold on to it. Just let it come, appreciate it, and let it go. Even if it's a bad thing, you can value it for what it is in your life, even if you don't fully understand that. Just say, this is a part of my life. This is a part of my story, and I honor it for what it is. And then let it go. Decide to let go of specific expectations this year. This has made my life so much better, but this really helps with Christmas time, is I don't expect things to go this way or that way. I just kind of visualize everyone being happy, everyone being connected. I visualize a peaceful experience, and that way when I go in to visit with friends and family, I go in with a peaceful spirit, and my heart is at rest. Even if there's all kinds of drama that ends up going on, I at least add my peacefulness to the situation, and I feel like it will make less drama at least. And I feel like it's even more powerful because people see that you've let go of that expectation, and so they don't feel pressured by your energy that everything has to be perfect. They don't feel pressured by that. So it will help. It helps a ton. And it causes I believe it causes a chain reaction, and it lets them not expect things, and it lets them, okay, she's relaxed even though these 4 things didn't go the way they were supposed to. She's still enjoying herself, so maybe it's not that big of a deal. Maybe I can enjoy myself too. So and the other thing that I do always, but especially with holidays, they're so special. There's these little moments when the children's eyes light up when they do get a gift that they really wanted, or just the being all together, the whole family or whatever, being in that moment and just really being there, just really noticing the color of the lights, noticing the decorations, noticing the joy in other people, even total strangers. As you're shopping, you can you're going to see angry, frustrated people, right? But you're going to see the ones that are really enjoying Christmas and are really excited, especially when you look at the kids, and just really absorb all that good stuff. And don't worry too much. Other people are going to be rude and they're going to drive bad and all this. Don't worry about that. You can even expect that stuff to happen and kind of plan for it. And then maybe if it doesn't happen, then you're like, that drive was really nice, you know, or that visit to the store was not bad. And anyway, just be in every moment and focus on the holiday joy. And don't worry whether things go as they should or not, because how things should go is made up anyway. It's made up by each and every one of us. We decide how things should be. So when we kind of let go of that piece and we just enjoy, it really opens life up. So I hope this helped you. I'm going to go have an amazing holiday. I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself. I'm going to start these projects that I've got. I've got a lot of projects that I want to do. So I'm going to go out there and, you know, put a lot of love into them and try to make them special. But I'm just going to enjoy every bit of it. And you guys do the same, and then comment, post, let me know how it goes. If you're having a hard time this Christmas, please reach out. Please let us know. There was a lot of family drama that goes on around this time of year, and so of course there can be a lot of hurt still in your heart, or if people perhaps you lost people this year and they're not celebrating with you, that can hurt. So allow yourself lots of space. Give yourself room to be sad. Do a lot of holding yourself and hugging yourself, you know. Be your best friend. Don't put pressure on yourself. Just relax, okay? And one more thing I want to say, and this is something I'm going to really try and do. I've been trying to spend some quiet time in the morning, just listening to the sounds around me, just focusing on my breath and just opening my ears to hear what God has to say to me, what love has to say. I always preface this. I'll get comfortable at one point and say one thing, I'm sure, but right now I'm being politically correct. I open my heart up to hear truth, wherever it's coming from. And this makes such a big difference in my day. And I notice on days I do that, the day runs so much more smooth than on the days that I forget and I just jump into my day. Then I feel kind of like grumpy, like something's missing. So do that if you can. Every morning that you can, even if you only have 5 minutes, sit, breathe, and just kind of listen, you know. Anyway, welcome the positivity in. Welcome God to speak to you. Welcome love in. So anyway, I'll stop chattering on, but I love you guys so much, and I will definitely talk to you next Sunday, but I want to try and check in tomorrow morning, so I will see you then also, 9:30 Mountain Standard Time. So look for me then. Bye.